We're going to get started. First of all, thank you very much for coming out. We were talking about how many people will be here. Usually it's a pretty good turnout, so I'm really appreciative you guys took the time to come out. Players, this is the one parents meeting that you guys are invited to and that you guys participate and have fun with. All right? So when I say that, make sure that we also maintain a little bit of professionalism for what that is for a 10, 11, 12-year-old. All right, because there's going to be some times where it gets a little bit rowdy, but make sure that we still understand you got to ride home with these guys. All right, and they're in charge of determining your roles at home, so I wouldn't get too out of hand with it. So tonight, for the parents that do not know Dr. Udelf is a sports psychologist. At the very beginning of every season, we have a couple teams that have played already, but we try to get everybody together one more time before we break, because usually about mid to late April, everybody breaks and we're all in a million different places and it's tough to get everybody together. So this is our one time before the season, bring everybody together, kind of talk about the next 3 months, reflecting on maybe years past, some of the experience you guys had either here or somewhere else, both for the players and the parents, and just try to set a tone and a positive mindset and a fun mindset moving forward into the season. So. Without any further ado, Dr. Udelf.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess I'm live, and let me know if the audio is okay. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I think everybody knows who I am and what I do. So I want to welcome you again. If you have any questions about what I do later, if you're not familiar, if we haven't met before, I'll be available a little later afterwards, or if you have any questions during, we can do that too. It's an exciting time of the year. You guys have been working hard, and the prep is, well, it's coming to an end now. The games are starting up. And it's an exciting time for me too, because now you're getting ready to put everything that you've worked for onto the field, and we'll see how it turns out. I've been doing this for a long time, and I was having a conversation with one of the kids before about we got into a conversation with some of the kids that I've coached, and watching them grow up, and some of them have become kind of famous in different endeavors that they've done. Some have gone into medicine, some are in politics now, some are in rock bands. And anybody ever see the TV show American Ninja Warriors? Matt Eisman, the host, was one of my former players when I coached out in Colorado. The reason I bring that up is because as I sit out here and I watch these guys, you know, some of these guys are going to emerge and become famous one day. You say, gee, you know, I knew them when they were this big or whatever, and that's kind of a cool feeling, especially looking back. So some of you are going to really make your parents very proud someday, and whether you're famous or not. But a lot of that you develop here with the force. It's not all about baseball, it's also about some of the lessons that you've learned that hopefully you can apply to the rest of your life. For example, like focusing, eye contact, and paying attention. See that? That's a really key element to play the game. You've got to be focused and paying attention. It's amazing what the guys who can focus, what they pick up from a pitcher, watching how they can tell before the guy's even throwing the ball what he's throwing, because they're paying such careful attention. They can see that the pitcher's giving things away. So some things that we learned over the course of the year. Very simple. I want to establish a nice dialogue between parents and kids as the season's getting started, okay? Get a dialogue going. I want the parents to hear, sometimes what they don't hear as readily is, I want you to hear from the real experts. No, not me, not Coach Beanham, and not the coaches, but your own kids. Because I think they have some important messages to give to their parents about what they would like from you as we get into the season, and also some information about what they don't want from you as we head into the season. So tonight is going to be some dialogue between parents and kids. We're going to be breaking down into small groups, and I've got some questions for discussion questions for you guys to go over. And so what we want to be able to do is there's going to be lots of ups and downs over the course of the season, lots of ups and downs, and what parents can do to help your kids weather the ups and downs. Sometimes the ups, that sounds really good, except sometimes some of you guys can get a little too uppity for your own good, okay? You get a little cocky, and maybe you don't work as hard. And then the downs, some of you guys, what did I call when you guys get down? What did I say you look like sometimes? And a character out of a book, Eeyore. Some of you guys start to look like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, kind of hanging your head in the dugout. So ups and the downs, what can parents do to support you through all that? Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing, breaking down into small groups. I did sort of direct the question to a particular, I pointed them in a particular direction because something interesting came up. In my last meeting with the kids during Academy, I was talking about distractions. What you do with those distractions. How do you maintain your focus in spite of all the distractions out there, the mental distractions, the noise, this, that, the other. So I asked the kids what the number one distraction for them was. And guess what they said? Parents. I wasn't expecting that, and I really wasn't aiming for that at all. I wasn't trying to. So we got into a discussion about it, and so they listed, and they were really, and I've had these conversations before. I've got to tell you parents that when the subject of parents comes up with kids, you want to get them riled up, have them talk about their parents in sports. And I even conducted a survey a bunch of years ago where I interviewed over 300 kids. And I'll give you the results of that. I'm not going to give it to you now, but for the parents to take home and look at. But this became a very animated discussion, the subject of kids, of their parents, when I was at Academy. And just a few things that the kids mentioned that was really distracting, that they don't like. And the reason I'm going over that now is because some of those kids aren't represented here. Some of them are older kids, high school, so just thought I'd throw it out. One of the things they really found to be the most distracting is when their parents start commenting and arguing with umpires. They do not like that at all because it's a distraction. I'm not even going to talk about the sportsmanship angle. I think everybody knows that, but it's distracting. Okay? You're not when you're arguing with umpires, you're not focused on the right thing. The game moves on. Okay? And so when you're arguing with umpires and commenting, you're distracting your kids from the game. Statistics. Okay, some of the kids were complaining their parents keep stats and they keep reminding them about their stats during the game. You're 1 for 4, you're 2 for 3, your batting average dipped below that. Okay? What do you think? Well, I'll throw it out to the audience. What does that do to kids' attention? What do you think?
Pressure.
What's that?
It adds pressure to it.
It adds pressure. Yeah, it adds pressure. I told the kids the story of a very quick, a major leaguer with, and incredible season. He had gone through a few months without relinquishing a walk. He'd given up 1 earned run, and we were talking in August. And I said, "You're having a great year." And he said, "Oh, thank you." And I said, "Do you realize that you've only given up? Do you?" And he said, "Did you call?" He stopped me. He said, "Did you call to talk about my statistics?" I said, no. He says, I don't want to talk about my stats. Please don't talk about my statistics. And I knew better, but I was just trying to be complimentary. The next day, I get a text. He said, did you see our game today? I said, no. He said, check the box score, call me back. Check the box score. He'd given up a walk to Derek Jeter on national TV. I called him up, and he said, yeah, I just wanted you to know. He says, I'm standing out there. I went to 2-0 on Jeter on national television, and your voice popped into my head. He said, and I said, what happened? He said, I stepped off the mound, I walked around, which we've taught the kids to do, some of the kids to do. What do you do when you get distracted? Get back up on the mound, and I ended up walking him. And I said, oh, great. So you're walking around the mound on national television thinking about me. He goes, yeah, that's right. I said, great. But anyway, it serves an important lesson. Those guys don't like talking about their stats either. It adds pressure. Any other things about statistics that you think is problematic? Anything else? Adds pressure. Does it have anything to do with what's going on right now? Anything? It's history. It doesn't matter. And it adds pressure. The other thing that the kids mentioned, I mentioned arguing with umpires and coaching them during the game. Guys, real quick, this is going to be in your discussion, but what's it like when your parents coach you during the game? What'd you guys say? One at a time. Pressure? Annoying. Hear that? Say it louder. On the count of 3. 1, annoying. 1, 2, 3. Annoying! I couldn't have said it better myself. It's annoying. And it's distracting. And you know, even as a coach, we took a group of, one of my first experiences with college level players when I was coaching, we took a team of American All-Stars down to Puerto Rico. And I started as a coach giving instruction, and the other coaches, I thought they were going to kill me. These were college coaches. Not during the game. You don't do that. Even as a coach, you don't start doing that kind of coaching with your batting mechanics and that kind of stuff. Even coaches don't do that. Because why? It's distracting. I pointed this out last year. You know how long it takes a 90-mile-an-hour fastball to leave the pitcher's hand to get to the catcher's glove? Blink. That's how fast. You don't have time to process the coaching while you're at bat. The good news about all this is when I asked the kids, well, what do you do about that? They said, well, I just don't listen to it. It's background noise. Some of the kids do get distracted by it, but they're trying not to listen to you, just so you know. Okay? Anyway, so that kind of directed the questions that I put together. So we're going to do that. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion, break you down into groups. But right now, before we break down into the groups, and then we're going to have an activity at the end that I think you'll find kind of fun, and especially for the kids. But are there any questions that anybody has about anything that we've done this year, anything that I've spoken about tonight? Any questions, comments? Okay. Coach, how many people would you guesstimate are here?
What's that?
How many people do you think are here tonight? Well, let's break in your seats, turn them around. I want the kids with their parents in the same group with the parents. If your parents aren't here, or if your kids aren't here, get in with the group. Break into, we'll say 4 groups. If you can, 4 small groups. Circle your chairs around. Like what guys said.
Sure.
There you go.
56. Should we take our chairs?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Over here, Bubba.
This is one questions. One per group? Yeah, one per group. You can break into smaller groups. This is kind of a big group if you want to maybe divide this one into two. How many groups do we have? 3?
Yeah.
Turn this one into a...
2?
Yeah.
How big do you want? 6?
Yeah, well, yeah, you go. Either way, if one of you groups, if one of, maybe this group breaks into 2 groups, could we do that? I'll give you the directions in a couple of seconds. There, I do have some directions for you. Who would like to? Oh, yeah. Oh, I think you should. Oh, I think Harley should do that.
Watch out.
That's it. You hit me with the chair. You're singing the national anthem.
Oh, yes, you are.
There you go. You guys get a clipboard? You got shaved. St. Baldrick's Day? I knew it. There you go. Okay, excuse me, attention, just to give you the direction. We'll go one question at a time. And just the directions a little bit. You'll address the first question, have a little discussion about it. And that question is, what are some things that parents do that are distracting to kids during games and practices? Now here's the thing, guys. This is your chance. We're empowering you. This is your chance to tell your parents what you really think. Be nice and respectful, but be assertive with it and let them know this is your chance. So speak now or forever hold your peace. So have a discussion and write down the different things on the, you should have somebody recording. I gave each group a clipboard, pencil, and come up with the top 3. When we're done with the first question, I'm gonna have one of the kids talk about sharing the list. I want to put kids in that position of sharing whatever you came up with to the large group, okay? So go ahead, first question. What are some things that parents do that are distracting to kids during games and practices? I'm gonna leave this mic in here, okay, so that, because this
Indoor triangle radio.
We had to
Why don't you read them out so far so we know what we got?
Don't say anything crazy.
Okay.
I got
Alright, so far we've got obnoxious cheering, arguing with the umpire, and or trying to be the umpire.
What else? So your parents are like perfect.
That's what I just said to him. I guess I'm perfect.
It's easy.
I came up with two based on other.
You got any?
You know you don't try it.
So we basically are here. Yep.
I'm trying to tell you how to hit the curveball.
I'm going to take it back.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, if I could have your attention, please. Have your attention. Like each group, like to hear from each group what you came up with. So, who's reporting in for this group? Okay, let's hear it. The So hold it, folks. Speak up. Gotta hear you.
Keeping stats during the game.
Hold it one at a time. What'd you say? Say that again.
Keeping stats, teaching during the game, yelling out, videotaping, and parents hyper.
Okay, so he said stats, keeping stats, videotaping during the game. That's an interesting one. Getting hyper. What does that mean exactly? Getting hyper. They get annoying and crazy. Okay, that's. You get a single and they go crazy. Okay. Thank you. Very, very good. Thanks. What did this group come up with? One of the kids share. Okay. Thank you.
Coaching from the bench, yelling in quotes.
Slow down so we can hear you. Start over.
Coaching from the bench,
Coaching from the bench.
talking to them during the game, and getting them to practice late.
Interesting.
Getting them to practice.
Group number 2, group number 3.
Just read a couple of them.
Listen up, please. Listen up, please. Oops, sorry.
Talking to us, yelling, telling us what to do on the field, having parents coach us, parents in the dugout, having parents saying how you are playing.
Having parents say how you're playing.
Yeah, like while you're actually playing.
Is that annoying? Really annoying? Is that really distracting? Okay. Thank you. Very good. I hope that the parents are soaking this up and maybe this will help them change their behavior. We're going to hear from group 4 over here. Will?
Obnoxious cheering.
Oh, a whole obnoxious cheering. Okay.
Arguing with the umpire and or trying to be the umpire.
Arguing with the umpire and trying to be. I like the way you're wording this. This is really good.
And yelling obvious things like hit the ball or catch
Yes. That is now that's very sophisticated baseball. Catch the ball, hit the ball. I don't know what we would do without parents telling you. Ball comes by, you wouldn't raise your glove, and right? Okay, very good. Okay, very good. By the way, you guys, the kids, you're going to have a chance to give them a taste of their own medicine in a little bit, okay? Okay. Now, question number 2. What are some things parents and kids can do to ensure that parents are not a distraction and to intervene with those parents that are being distracting? So what are some things that parents and kids can do? This probably being one of the things you can do, just talking about it, but what are the things you can do to maybe intervene or prevent parents behaving in the ways that you just described? So good luck. Go ahead, discuss.
You're just gonna put you on speaker, no?
It's for the whole group, it's not just you. Hold on.
What? Better be nice, boy. It's a long walk home.
I hope that the people at home can hear this.
It's a long walk home.
What? Tell them.
You guys have any?
What's this?
Just speak.
Go guys, talk. See.
I put self-talk down. You mean like when you're talking to yourself and saying, just ignore that annoying habit?
Have them.
Talking to your parents about
That's a good one.
to having a pre-game talk.
Yes.
Oh, take this off.
All the time.
Leave it on.
That I'm not gonna speak.
Oh, you're not going to do any of the
Come on, movie star.
Why don't we go through? Can we go through the ones at the top and then see if there's a solution for each?
I gotta sneeze.
I meant at the top ones when it says talking to like is there something we can that could be
Haven't put not put tape on them. I would say put duct tape on them.
no, I think that's probably not a reasonable solution.
I know.
Hey, it doesn't hurt when you feel it all.
It does actually.
I've done it before.
Well, you don't have any hair on your face yet. Any other ones?
Can't think of anything.
Can't think of any solution?
No.
You can think of all the.
I'm taking on my test that I'm just about to take.
What about just doing the shh? The shh work?
Oh, that's a good one.
No, you don't say shut up. It's not polite. But you could shh.
What do you want to say, Nolan?
What about telling your coach?
Dude,
Tell your coach to
I'm a John Wick.
tell my mom to be quiet. Yes. Can you tell my mom she's just
I'm a John Wick on Fortnite.
Can you tell my mom she's annoying?
I'm a John Wick on Fortnite.
What else? What do you do?
I'm on tier 100.
Feedback during the game. You could do differently to say,
Say stop.
Yeah.
not now.
Or maybe after the game. Like,
You say what the impact is to you, like mom.
or like tell them maybe. Wait, what?
You just heard you say Fortnite.
Guys, we need to think. Our group isn't represented very well.
Here you go.
Okay, folks, we'll start with group number 4. I want to hear it. So we'll go with group number 4. What?
We had asked the coach for help,
Ask the coach for help. Okay.
support the coach,
Support the coach. What does that mean, do you think? Well,
to like stick with the coach's plan and try to block out the plans.
and don't go against the coach's plan. Okay.
Try to de-escalate the situation and stay positive.
Stay positive, try to de-escalate. How would you de-escalate the situation? Did you guys talk about that at all, or?
Get some thoughts.
Just like go up to the parent and say, hey, the kids don't need your help right now in that fashion. They have a coach.
Would you be willing to do that? How many kids would be able to go up to an adult and say, please keep it to yourself, or in a nice way? How many kids would be willing to do that? Good, that's kind of tough, I know, but how many parents would be willing to go up to another parent? How many parents would be willing to do that? Good. I encourage you to. Okay, thank you. How about group number 3?
Self-talk, pre-game talk, or post-game talk.
Slow down, one thing, say that again?
Self-talk, pre-game talk, or post-game. Tell coach the problem and think positive.
Okay. So you try to communicate in a pregame talk, post?
Yeah.
And who would do that in a pregame talk? The coach would talk to the parents?
Oh,
mean?
never mind.
No, the kids would talk to the parent.
No?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like a pep talk before the game, not during the game.
That's interesting, a pep talk. Kids go up to the parents and let them know before the game? Okay.
I think it's your talk, right?
I sent out a letter years ago on a team. The kids were complaining because the parents were standing behind the backstop, and I wrote a letter that all the kids signed. And it really worked. I think that the parents thought I put the kids up to it. Funny thing, that year, I think half of my parents were like very high-profile attorneys, including but they I'm saying, okay, I'm going to get sued now, but no, it didn't happen. Okay, so this group.
One of them was a safe word or hand signal and a stands for parents be quiet. Another one is a pep talk before a game and not on the field. And another one is lollipops. So they put in their mouth. So
Whose suggestion was that?
I can't take credit for it.
see?
You win a prize for that one. I'm getting you a lollipop. Okay. Okay, group number 1. Group number 1. Stand up, speak loud.
No arguing among selves. Do not ignore the distracting.
I feel bad.
Tell them to stop.
Move away from the field, stay in car, or go out to the field far away. Please open with your parents and feel about how you feel.
Can I help them?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Your mom's going to help you.
This was my writing, so I apologize. All right, so for parents, the boy said that we should have rules as parents and say no arguing among ourselves. They also asked that we cannot ignore the other distracted parents, just please tell them to stop. One of the comments was if you have to be distracted, just move away from the field, stay in your car, go to the outfield, but just stay far away. Players, they talked about that they should just be open with us as parents and tell them how we feel about what we're doing. And then I asked a question in terms of, could someone make the comment that it irritates them, that the parents are making them late to practice, but one of the comments from the players was, we need to take ownership and for them to have their things ready, so they can sort of have ownership and to like relate together. It's not the parent that you
Thank you. Okay. We have a couple of questions. Coach, do you have those questions from the home audience? Go ahead.
We wanted to know how to address another parent.
How to address a parent with what?
So what is the best way to tell another parent to not talk to your, I'm sorry, what is the best way to tell another parent not to talk to, I'm thinking your son during warm-ups or during the game?
The best way, does anybody have an answer to that? What do you guys think is the best way to talk to a parent that's distracting, talking to their kids, you mean during warm-ups and?
I believe you're trying to your son.
Okay. I would say what needs to be stated, I think, by the coaches and an understanding of the team is when they drop their kids off, they belong to the coaches at that point, and you're just a spectator. You move away and just let it happen. Stay away from the backstop, watch the game, just back away. And I think the best way to do that is to establish that as a rule. And then if a parent is violating that, a parent or a kid can go up and say, hey, look, we decided this is what the coach wants. Please move away from the backstop. NDCL solved their problem very nicely because they put the bullpens right next to the dugouts, and they put a great big backstop thing so the parents couldn't stand behind the backstop, couldn't stand. So they're the way that the field's set up, and this was done intentionally, where everybody's in left, all the fans are in left and right field, away from the dugout. So you could just build a wall.
They just forgot about the away game.
Another question.
What about talking to your kids after the game?
Talking to the kids after the game, I will say this about talking to kids after the game. Imagine parents, because kids do not like the car ride home. We did a whole presentation on videotaping it, but very simply I would say this. Imagine that you've had a tough day at work, and on your way home you had your spouse or your kid in the seat, you're driving home in rush hour time, telling you all the things you did wrong at work and how you mishandled everything at work, and reviewing your day at work. Okay? How many parents would like that? How many parents come home and they really don't want to talk about work? Anybody? It's no different. By the way, that's why your kids, when you ask, how was school today? They're not going to give you an answer to that either. They don't want to talk about it. Okay? For the same reason that you don't want to talk about work. That's not the time to review. The kid's upset, maybe because it was a rough game. You're not happy, bad, mixed. The car becomes combustible, okay? So I would, if you want to talk about the game, I'd let if the kid brings it up in the car, that's one thing. Let the kids bring it up. And later on, and please don't review video with them, you know, as soon as you get home. Any comments about that? Anything anybody would like to add, subtract? Yeah. When everybody's calmed down. I mean, if it's a discipline thing, you know, if your kid lost control and got kicked out of the game, you need to talk about that, okay? But again, I would wait until things get a little calmer, right after the game car ride. Give them a break, maybe a few hours later. Does that sound reasonable, or does anybody know anything different? Or yeah.
What I try to do, and I have to comment as to how this feels, is I usually ask him what he thinks went well and what he thinks he could do differently next time. So that way, I'm not critiquing him. I'm trying to listen to hear whether or not he's identified himself, because quite frankly, I don't know enough about the game to give him any kind of guidance anyway. So
Good reply. Actually, even when I do individual instruction with kids here, with hitting and pitching, and I'll often say to them, I'll ask them, what did you notice on that swing? What did you notice on that throw? They know, especially after they've been, sometimes at the beginning they don't, because maybe they don't quite understand, but they know. What did you do? I uppercut, I pulled my hands away from the ball. They know. So instead of listening to me being a magpie and repeating and sound, you know, it sounds like nagging, ask them. Very good, because most of the time they'll know. What did you do? What did you think? What were your strengths, weaknesses, and so forth? Okay? Does anybody want to add anything else to that? Okay. So question number 3. Question number 3. What are some things kids would like parents to do at practices and games that are positive, supportive, but not distracting? What are some things kids would like parents to do at practices and games that are positive, supportive, but not distracting?
You're reading this, so if you get it wrong.
Are you serious? I feel amazing.
Wait, why is he Wait.
I just want them to listen into this.
After a hit, you can clap. But don't scream their name, because that's not good. Don't, when I hit a home run at Cooperstown, don't say what you said, because you know what you said.
What did she say? What did she say? What'd she say? What'd she say? Say it.
Do you not like it when we call out your name?
No, I mean, you could do that, just like, don't scream it.
Do you not like your name yelled? You're bad.
Like, not loud.
If it's not like Harley Barley.
Like, let's go.
That was really
Like if you say like JT, good job. Because your mic don't know.
Oh, dude, I have to. I can give you the mic.
The parents should be okay. Like, actually, no, you can keep it.
Oh, it's actually on.
Yeah, no. What?
Mom, what else could we write down?
John, you're not good at Fortnite.
How does this work? Is this like on the live stream?
42, I got 70.
Hey guys.
Bro, I had a 30 kill dub.
So.
Don't say your name. I give her.
No, like say their name, just not.
A weird nickname.
Just not a nickname. Not a nickname. Not a weird nickname.
What about after a bad play?
Well, just tell them.
Don't say anything.
Don't say anything. No,
Don't say anything.
Don't worry about it.
No, do this.
Nothing.
Great. You'll get them next time.
Yeah.
Just dead silence.
Just. He struck out.
So what about
Silence fix everything.
Get
down! That works.
I mean, I steal bases a lot, so I have a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny's got jets, but I mean...
Johnny has no jets. This man is slow.
Bro, Johnny, you are so slow. He gets his arms going with his lower hat. Just... I mean, Chuck runs like he's got a washing machine, but...
Positive reinforcement only.
Positive, positive, positive. I like that.
Mustache.
Cheer after big plays only. No nicknames being yelled unless approved by the player.
Yeah.
And don't tell us to steal bases or get down for a slide.
Yep, I like it.
I mean, sure.
Okay, you're in charge.
Nope, give it to Johnny. Here you go, John.
Here you go.
Put it in the hole. Look professional.
What?
That doesn't look too professional.
Positive reinforcement
When you guys are in the outfield, do you get upset with us?
Is this a lollipop?
Yeah, it's because it like gets in our head. No nicknames being yelled unless approved by players. Don't tell us to steal bases or get down.
Or don't say you run like a horse.
Don't say that, what? We have the mic.
I like this. It makes me feel good.
You're on air right now.
I know.
Watch what you say. Okay, folks, we will start with the mic group first. So what did you guys speak clearly and slowly so everyone can understand you?
All right, we said positive reinforcement only cheering, cheer after big plays only, and no nicknames being yelled unless approved by the players. Oh yeah, and we have don't tell players places or get down for a slide.
Oh, so they're coaching you in the middle, not just with Mick, they're telling you, okay. So they're being base coaches now, right?
Yeah.
Could I have a list? Could I have a list of the non-accepted nicknames?
Oh, Harley Barley.
Non-approved? Oh, I don't. Okay, thank you. This group? Speak clearly and loudly.
Watch the game and tell the pictures what happened, what we need to work on. Snacks post game.
Hold on, that's two separate sentences.
Snacks for post game.
Snacks for post game. Have the parents talk to the coach and self-discipline.
Soft discipline? Self-discipline, okay. Okay, go ahead. I'm just coming up here so they can hear you on the mic.
Get the kid there early or on time. After the game, bring water or Gatorade or before. And then let the coach coach.
Let the coach coach. What a concept. Let the coach coach. Let's see. Who did I not hear from? This group. Speak loudly and clearly.
Let coaches coach afterwards. Positive words like have fun and not so bad. And pay attention to drills so you can help them at home when they're doing their drills.
Okay, very good. Did I skip any group?
Nope.
Got all of you? Did you have something you wanted to add? Oh, you raised your hand. I said, oh, am I putting you on the spot now? You don't know what to do. Isn't this awkward? Another thing you guys could do is you could have two schedules. The real game schedule and then the one you give your parents. So when you've got a home game, say in Beechwood, your parents are driving around Bay Village someplace looking for the field. How many like that idea? Okay. All right. So, kids, listen up. Anything that you guys wanted to add to those, by the way? Anything Any comments about what kids want from parents? Yeah.
Another one where how you said like how parents will talk to you is like he had this idea, but like how our coach says we're gonna live stream some games, so their dad or like their parents could watch it on the live stream instead of come to our games and yelling all that stuff.
Oh, okay, so they gotta watch it, they don't have to come to the games. Or you could videotape. How about this? How about the parents love to videotape you. Why don't you videotape your parents and then go over the video when you get home and they could see. You like that? Okay. Any other comments? Anything else you'd like to add? Okay. So what we're going to do now is, I think something you'll find fun. We're going to have a little competition amongst the parents. And what I'd like is we're going to have a throwing accuracy contest. I'd like two parents, guys. Listen, I want two parents, volunteers, and you'll be a team representing your group, two parents from each group, and you'll get 5 chances to throw a ball through the tire, okay? And we're going to keep count. So the group 1 will play against group 2, group 3 against group 4, and then the winner will play each other in the championship. Guys, players, listen up. Listen up, please. As when your parents are the two parents representing this group, you guys will come up and cheer. I want you to act just like your parents do. Coach them. Tell them, remind them of what their statistics are. You know, if you don't get this one in, we're going to lose. Or put the ball in the hole. Make sure you tell them, okay? So, pick two volunteer parents from this group, get 2 volunteers, and I'm going to set up here. Okay, we've got the 2 parents from group 1 versus the 2 parents from group 2.
I'm in this group.
Group 1 versus group 2.
I'll wait for coach.
So you'll go next.
Who else is coming up there?
Who's the other? Okay, you're from group 1?
Group 1.
Keep track. We got to know who the winner is. This is group 1. Coach them. Let them know what to do.
It isn't that hard. Put it in the
Come on,
hole.
Nick.
He's got 2 more. Okay, it's 3. Now, that's group 1. Who are the parents in group 2? Group 2 parents?
Right there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Do I have to look just on the back?
Yeah, you got to keep your start on the mound. You can lift your foot up as you throw.
Okay.
Make noise. Come on. Put your foot in the hole.
How do I fix that?
Tell her how to fix it. Okay, who's the second parent from group 1? Here we go. We've got 3 to 1. Group 1 leads 3 to 1. One more. So they have 4 points. Group 1 has 4. Who's the next parent? Group 2. Who's the parent are you? Group 2. Here. Wow. So group 1, 4 to 2, group 1 wins. Okay. Okay. Group 3. Who are the parents in group 3? Group 3 and group 4, you're on deck. Ready? Go ahead.
Did he make it?
3 more. 1 point. 1 point. 3 points. Okay, we got the group 4. You're with the same group right here.
This is group 4.
Okay,
This is group 4. This is group 4.
Group 4.
Yeah, you're up.
Oh for 1. Oh for 2. Oh for 2. What's his batting? What's his average? 2 more. Guys, collect the baseballs. Bring them up here. Okay, I need the second parent from group 3. Okay? You guys are winning, what? 3 to 1, I think we're 3 to 2? 3 to 2.
Yeah.
Okay, you got one.
I want a bell.
How many did you talk? 1, 2. 2 or 3. 2 or 3. This one is made 1. Okay, 1. Okay, we got 3 more. 2 more. 2 points. 1 more. Okay, they've got 6 points. 6 points, and who's up for team 4? Here we go.
He has to make all of them.
He's got to get 4. Oh, we don't want to put any pressure.
He's got to make all of them to win.
4 in, you lose.
If he doesn't put all
No
of them.
pressure. Back away. Back away. Oh, he's got to put the next 4 in. Okay. Now we've got the championship between Group 1 and Group 3. So the
Are we allowed to choose different people?
Group 1.
Are we allowed to choose different people? Oh, me!
What do you do? You want to throw? Your dad's going to throw. Is that your dad? Is that your son? Guys, back away. Make noise. Oh for 1. 1. Guys, think that went in?
No, we need instant replay. We need instant
Group 3. You said Group 3. Yeah. Yeah, the refs. If you want to contest this, you'll need to speak to Finn. Finn made the final decision, didn't he? Raise your hand. Okay, who is
my replay?
Okay, here we go. Hey. Now, who's the last contestant? 4. If you guys, If, just for a few minutes, if we could return to our seats, just for a few minutes, turn to your seats.
Is it over?
Not
No,
yet.
no looker. No look. I made it.
It doesn't matter whether you're looking at me, you still miss.
No, I wouldn't.
Hey, put the baseballs down. Put the baseballs down. Go back if you do.
Man, sit down.
You should be. Listen up, folks. Listen up, please. Listen up, please. Just to hear some feedback from kids. Well, first off, from the kids, what was that like for you? Was it fun? How old were you guys? How many of you guys were, you think, acting like a parent would do? Were any of you actively trying to imitate any particular parent, or you don't have to say, okay? What did you guys feel like you were giving them a little bit of taste of their own medicine there? Do you like that? Don't do this at home. Don't do this at home. How about any of the parent, especially the participants, the people who are actually throwing? What was that like for you guys?
Actually, honestly, I didn't even pay attention to the kids. I was just throwing.
Which is exactly what we try to teach the kids to do. Treat it like background noise, and that's what they're trying. That's what they're doing. A lot of them have been able to do that. Some not so much. Remember, parents, your voice sticks out like a foghorn to your kid. So just remember that. Any other comments from any of the other parents that were throwing?
Just for the kids too. When you get on that baseball field, focus. So you gotta focus. Don't worry about the parents. Just focus on the game and do your best. Listen to your coaches.
Any other parents, like any? It was nerve-wracking. Okay. How so? Could you just? I mean, did you feel like it held you back and?
Something held it back.
Yeah, I wasn't focused at all.
Weren't focused. Okay. Was there any particular thing that the kids were doing for you that was just nerve-wracking? So even if they were quiet, it would be nerve-wracking. And keep that in mind for your kids. When they're just out there, it's nerve-wracking by itself. But then when you add that into it, it doesn't help. So good point. Anything else? Yeah.
I agree with him over there. I told Sammy as soon as I sat down that it takes years of training, but honestly, I didn't hear the cowbell or any of the stuff when I was actually up there, only when other people were. It takes, even though I didn't many calls, actually one. But I figured I was focused, and it was, but it takes them a long time to be able to do that. You don't get it the first year, the second year of tuning everyone out.
Sammy, she didn't hear the cowbell, so I'm going to let you take them home tonight. Wash your feet. See how she does like around 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. You played someplace before, did you? Where did you play? Oh, good. Okay. To talk to you about that. Okay. So just, we're going to conclude here. I will be around. If you have anything that you want to talk about, I know it's getting late. We went about an hour and 15 minutes, which is right around what we were looking for. But does anybody have any questions, any comments before in a group that you want to ask about or anything? I will be around afterwards if you want to have a question, a specific question to ask. But any comment, questions, anything?
I do have a handout for the parents, that survey that I took. About 300 kids responded to this thing, and I kind of did it in David Letterman style, so I started with number 10 and numbered them backward to 1. So you can take that home and kind of look at that, okay? And I'll bring those up and pass on. No other comments, questions? Thank you for being here tonight. I will be here. And good luck with your season. And I hope that you learned something tonight, and I hope you learned something from all the preparation that you've been doing all year. Now it's time to put it on the field, so good luck with that. Thank you very much.